The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, squeezably soft host. Once more, here we go into the breach, dear friends. As we start the show off today, we're up. I thought we'd probably have another flat day. If we were going to go higher, I thought it'd probably be tomorrow. I am long two positions in the daily. Don't think that there's a lot of money to be made. Maybe, like as I said before, maybe a little up and a possibility of a lot more down. So this market long doesn't really appeal to me. But what can you say? There's a little money to be made. People will go after it, but generally that's when they give a lot more back than they get. We've had some fairly big pullbacks. I've been short on those. They didn't develop to anything. We continue to have lighter volume. This is Wednesday. Should be one of the bigger volume days of the week as we go into expiration on Friday. Just 1.75 billion shares as we go into 207 on Wednesday. So it's going to be kind of a light day. There's not a lot of juice out here. A handful of stocks pretty much pulling the wagon with a lot of people riding. But we'll talk more about that. Anyway, up 10 points on the S&P cash. Volume's not all that exciting, 1.75 billion shares. And again, it's a handful of stocks kind of leading the rest of them slightly higher. I thought maybe we'd be up 3 or 4, maybe 5 points today. And then maybe tomorrow's earnings, which there'll be a lot of, maybe we'd have a lot more movement. It certainly looks to me like this is where you start getting into real troublesome moves. That is, everybody kind of trying to get in front run these stocks going into earnings. And, we've had them kind of all over the place. Not a lot going, not a real good theme, but what are we, 15 points higher after 4 or 5 days. It's not been a huge trend. The longer term, of course, has been moving up. But at the same time, we continue to see lighter and lighter volumes and lighter amount of dollars for each day. As always, we love to come to you at this time. We do love to come to you at this time sometimes. But where's that at? There it is.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
And as always, we like to start off the show with a little bit of history.
And it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 1799, Napoleon Bonaparte's Egyptian campaign, a French soldier discovers a black basalt slab inscribed with the ancient writings near the town of Rosetta, about 35 miles north of Alexandria. The irregular-shaped stone contained fragments of passages written in 3 different scripts, Greek, Egyptian, and Egyptian again. Demonic? Hieroglyphics and demonics. The ancient Greek on the Rosetta Stone told archaeologists it was inscribed by priests honoring the king of Egypt, Ptolemy V, in the 2nd century BC. More startlingly, the Greek passage announced that the 3 scripts were all of identical meaning. The artifact thus held the key to solving the riddle of hieroglyphs, a written language that had been dead for nearly 2,000 years. And of course, little did they know when they found this thing, it took about 50 or 60 years, if I remember right, for them to actually decode it. But it would end up telling us the name of many of those folks that were in those pyramids and lead to one of the greatest musical releases of all time in 1978. We wouldn't know Tut's name without this.
Now when he was a young man, he never thought he'd see people stand in line to see the boy King.
King Tut. Oh, well, having fun today. What else is going on? Apple, I'm going to be doing a presentation on the 26th, and that's going to be about machine learning. I suspect it is the next wild, wild west of computing, and a lot of moving pieces, so we're going to talk about that. Apple announced today in a blog that it's starting to release some of its internal work on machine learning. The journal's a bit empty right now, as the company's only shared one post about turning synthetic images into realistic ones in order to train neural networks. The move is interesting, as Apple doesn't usually talk about their research projects. But, of course, Apple was the first into machine learning with a product of note with Siri. And, of course, that's kind of gone away, hadn't it? Kind of Amazon has gotten in the lead, and that's kind of the reason I'm doing this presentation. There are a lot of moving pieces, and we will see kind of a horse race where we have many different leaders in the coming years. And this is just kind of the this is just the beginning of what seems to be a long campaign for many of these big folks, and we'll see what else is out there and what opportunities are for other folks. But I'm going to say that the opportunities are about limitless. We'll talk more about this with Tom O'Brien at 3:30 today, but just interesting that every day now starting to see some kind of article about the big guys, the FANGs and others, and even IBM with their earnings release last night, talk about what machine learning is going to do for their revenues and or profits in the near future. Of course, today we saw a handful of stocks, got a couple of them after the bell. American Express and Qualcomm, probably the big ones. I think Alcoa also, and United Rentals. Tomorrow is the murderer's row of earnings. Abbott Labs, Nucor, BB&T, Checkpoint, Philip Morris, Snap-on, Union Pacific. I think we had CSX out already this morning. Genuine Parts Company, Polaris, Microsoft, Visa, Skyworks Solutions, Intuitive Surgical, eBay, Capital One, Athena Health, and SAP. Look at Skyworks because they will probably be doing some form of forecast, and that probably will tell you a great deal about what Apple is doing in its near future. I don't know what else you can say. A lot of those companies doing big stuff. Alcoa is up 4 cents so far. URI is up $1, which is a little less than 1%. What else do we have? That's kind of we had Morgan Stanley out before the bell. For a financial, they're up $1, not that big a deal. Textron didn't sell as many turboprops. They're off about 1.5%. Of course, Qualcomm after the bell tonight, that's going to also tell us a little bit about what's happening. Apple and them have tried to bury the axe a little bit the last couple of days, but what else?
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And Friday we go in with General Electric, Schlumberger, Honeywell, and Huntington Bank shares. And, of course, what do we have? We have options expiration. So, for all these earnings and stuff, it's kind of interesting to see the movement, which has been slightly higher. For commodities, gold's just off $1 today, seems to be holding in pretty good. The numbers for crude from the EIA numbers came out, and they were rather bullish. It's up about 1.8% at 47.27. Natural gas is holding at $3.07, and kind of interesting. I think we're probably 2 weeks away, maybe 3 weeks away from maybe some kind of long-term bottom in natural gas, but we will have to wait on that. What else we got? Let's go ahead and look at some charts. Vertex Pharmaceutical, which had been the butt of many jokes, had come off a lot of lows, gapped up last time, gapped up yet another day today. This one's probably got one more gap in it. BRTX is the symbol, but you've got two nice gap ups here in a row, and my guess is you're going to get one more before this thing's done going higher. They had very good results from one of their drugs, which is for a particularly nasty disease. And now I forgot the disease. Well, anyway, there's always another disease to come around. What was it? Trying to think what it was. I'll think about it. Anyway, big news, and of course, it's one of these drugs that's going to get huge margins on it. And I don't think you can say anything other than that. Maybe one more gap when the thing ships, but looks like they're going to sail through. If these results or anything would indicate that this drug is going to sail through FDA, and be out probably before the end of the year. So maybe they're going to have a little bit more. But a drug that really doesn't have any competition, and it's kind of a I'm trying to remember exactly what it was now. Yeah, I'll think of it. Maybe I should just look it up because it's going to bug me like everything bugs me. I'm bugged a lot. Cystic fibrosis, that's what it was. This is a mid-stage trial, so they have one more trial to go. That's why I'm suspecting that they get that third trial in. The FDA has been big fans of, if that third trial goes fairly well, they don't have to complete it. So I think a lot of people are thinking that is what's going to happen, and this drug may be out before the end of the year. They're pretty lenient when there is no other drug to help anybody and the people are going to die anyway, thinking that, the worst case scenario. But pretty important. I was doing a little research in this morning and found out a few things that I thought were very interesting in the drug market. That is that for opioids, that 59,000 people OD'd last year and died from their ODs. Who knows how many people actually OD'd. But I guess this fentanyl stuff is pretty horrible stuff. They were doing a deal on it. I didn't even know that why many people are getting prescribed these opioid drugs, that they actually, on the box, say for end-of-life care only because it's so addictive. But I knew, actually, there's a lady that lives down the street here whose son OD'd on fentanyl last year. It's been almost a year. Pretty nasty stuff. And the question is whether or not any of those things are going to get rolled back with any of the new marijuana drugs. But so far, not much. But I was really surprised to see that we think of what the real problems are facing us. But twice as many people that were shot in drug action in the hood actually died from the overdoses from that. And it becomes a much bigger problem. Apparently in the last year, and that was a double, 59,000 is the double before the numbers in 2016. So it's really becoming a big deal. Back pain, about 100 million Americans. I'm trying to remember what they compared it to in the piece today. I'm trying to remember. Oh, are more people smoking today or taking opioid drugs? That was the question. More people are actually on opioid drugs than smoking today too, which is amount. But that's pretty interesting. Anyway, Vertex Pharmaceuticals, a big deal with cystic fibrosis. And one of the other things that probably is in this is the thought that maybe some of the other drugs that are related to that are going to be muscular dystrophy, which again would be another huge seller, since those drugs have actually gotten a little better. There still isn't the kind of cure that anybody wants in that. But this is very, from what the article I read this morning, very related to that same kind of cure, which means that with this, there is the chance that we're going to get a few of these other really horrible diseases taken care of. Okay, what else do we have out here? URI, I think that's out after the bell. United Rentals. Of course, they rent all kinds of stuff, bulldozers and cherry pickers and just about everything else in the world. This thing out after the bell is right at resistance. This gap down on earnings last time on April 20th did so with almost 7 million shares. Got into it with 1.5 million shares a couple days ago yesterday, 1.7 million shares today, just 900,000 shares. So of the ones I was looking at, this one's at fairly decent resistance. Be very interesting to see how this one actually works after the bell tonight. IBM when we look at that one. Wanted to see the volume in this. I'll probably talk to Tom O'Brien a little bit in the 3:30 hour about machine learning, because a great deal of what happened in IBM and the results today kind of that. A good call from him last night saying that there was possible about $10 down on this. It was trading right around 150 last night. And the question is whether or not they get a new CEO. I think this may be the end of the gal that runs it now. Buffett sold 1/3 of his shares before the last earnings call. Haven't seen any data on whether or not Buffett has sold any more of IBM, but earnings last night can't be looked at in any way of a positive light. And they're kind of one of the, Watson was a big deal and hasn't really kind of done that well yet. We'll talk about that with Tom O'Brien at 3:30 today.
David White has just announced a new online course that he'll be premiering to his subscribers the evening of July 26th, The Next Wild Wild West of Computing. Machine learning will be the biggest growth area for tech companies in the next 10 years. Make sure you're ready to capitalize on that opportunity. With over 50 types of algorithms and growing, Dave White will tell you why there are so many areas for companies to apply this to their business to both sell and consume. Right now, you can get a 30-day free trial to either of Dave's newsletters, Path of Least Resistance and The Technology Insider, as well as get a 30-day money-back guarantee when ordering Timing the Trade charts. Don't miss out on the next Wild Wild West of computing as it premieres July 26th for all subscribers to Dave White Services. For all the details and to sign up today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Will interest rates continue to rise? For bold trades on U.S. Treasuries, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade TMF or TMV. Directions daily, 20-plus year, bull and bear, 3 times ETFs. Direction leveraged ETFs. An investor should carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risks, charges, and expenses before investing. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a fund's prospectus and summary prospectus, call 866-476-7523 or visit directioninvestments.com. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we are back. Got a couple of emails, so we'll take a look at it. We were talking about IBM. This thing, didn't do very well. You had Buffett selling into it. So I don't know if there's a great deal you can say other than maybe he was selling into it from back here at this low. But man, I don't think that CEO has long for this world if she misses once again. This is back, I think he started buying around the 120, 125 level, which will tell you that he's still in the money. That's Mr. Buffett. And he still has, 6-7 million shares left. But it'd be very interesting to see the next round of disclosures and 10Ks and stuff, see just whether or not he's still in this thing or if he continued to sell it, why the thing went sideways. He rarely says anything bad about the stocks he was owning, but he sure dissed Ramadi. I think Ramadi is the way it's pronounced, the CEO. But, man, she's made a big turn and bet everything on really a couple of products. And so far, it has not been working out. 143.94 is, or 143.49, excuse me, is the October 18th, 26 low. You got 12.7 million shares. That was untested. And looks like that's where you're at, and probably why Tom was talking about $10 lower on his show before earnings yesterday. IBM did win a couple of big contracts with the military. One thing I always hate about these big companies, especially these ones that sell a lot to each other, and that is you never get a lot of details. So you really don't know how big it is. I know that they had a couple of big sales to the Air Force. Whether or not those were in last quarters or this quarters, it's tough. So, what else can you say? Wanted to look at Microsoft. It was up a little bit as it goes into earnings. This is just a little higher. It has broken higher. The volume is not here today so far, 14.8 million shares compared to the June 5th high, $72.89. That was 35 million shares. So we're basically back above this June 5th high, and not a lot of follow through. This is where I'm saying you have to really wonder about how some of these things work in front running earnings. Maybe they know, maybe they don't. I don't like the light volume on this. You had a lot of energy off that June 5th high back down to the June 12th low. You did test with miraculously lighter volume on June 3rd with 29 million shares going into that 49 million shares. Now, what you didn't get was any kind of energy off that June 3rd low up to this high. The energy has been very light. In fact, off kind of about a third of that huge move down on the 9th, as so many of these tech stocks have. They've gone back through and really not picked up a lot of juice. Other front-running companies into earnings, Facebook, everybody's in love with this thing. I think, again, the story is, with the exception of maybe Netflix, I think a lot of these companies are absolutely priced for perfection. Maybe there's something we don't know about Facebook, but you had a lot of juice in that one yesterday as it did go higher. So it's a little different than Microsoft. But what you had 23.7 million shares, 16 million shares today. That one was starting to gain a lot of shorts in this. I think they got bucked off yesterday. Let's go back and check the markets real quick. Take a look. Okay, we're up 11 points. Volume continues to be very light at this time of day. Just 1.9 billion shares on the New York Stock Exchange consolidated tape. And let's see what else we have. Got a email asking me to look at TZA. And, you know, you've kind of come down. This is where I'm thinking these markets are kind of stretched, although I'm not making a big bet directionally on the S&P. I've got a couple of positions that I figure are going to do well for a variety of reasons on the long side, regardless of which way the S&P moves, because I hate these light volumes out here. So I'm leaning towards stocks that have to go up or have such heavy short positions that if they go down, they're not going to go down very far. April 26 was that $16.32 low in the TZA. You're down today on 6.8 million shares. So that's just half of that April 26 low. You kind of came in and tested with heavier volume on 21 million shares on the 9th and kind of broke that level. Now we're kind of coming back down and through it, but not seeing a lot of juice either. So this is not as clean a chart as you would like to see. Let's go back and actually shorten this one up a little bit. There we go. So you had 16 million shares on April 26. You pierced it and then started to rally on June 9th, but because it was a high volume low out here, you really didn't want to do much. But now you're into that 21.7 million share low with 7 million shares today. It does look like maybe we're going to close below that, but I don't see the kind of juice in a lot of these out here, either at highs or lows, which connotes a narrowing trading range as we've had. This is kind of the breakout of a lot of these stocks that were in a asymmetric or in a triangle pattern. They've now kind of started to bust out to the upside, and a handful of them have some volume. A lot of them do not. Facebook, Netflix, kind of the exceptions to the rule so far. And I don't know, it seems like we've got as many IBMs as we've got Netflix on earnings. You can give me a call at 877-927-6648. You can email me at path@tfnn.com. And, of course, you can always post a message in the den. What else do we have? Take a quick look at some of these other ones. Take another look at Netflix after its resolve from yesterday. A lot of times when you get, double, triple average volume, you end up with what's commonly called an exhaustion movement. We probably have that for a little bit in Netflix. Earnings were good. I don't think they were that good. A lot more had to do with heavy short positions in Netflix. Do you think you could probably get back into the 168, 167 level if you thought about buying this on the pullback? I like buying these on about half the gap up is where you start taking a look at these things. So that'd be 168. If you're lucky enough to come back in there. You had huge volume yesterday, 41.6 million shares. Today, just 14 million shares. So it looks to me like this thing kind of did exhaust itself yesterday. If you're lucky, maybe this comes back into the 168 level on any pullback, and maybe that's where you look for a long position. Too many shorts in this thing, so I wouldn't like that side of it. We'll be back in a minute.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you like it does me, visit everbank.com/TFNN to find out what they can do for you. Again, that's everbank.com/TFNN. Visit them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
TFNN is excited to offer a brand new piece of market scanning software unlike anything the industry has ever seen. John Logan and his team have spent years developing their market profile tools to finally be able to release the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. And right now you can get a 2-week trial absolutely free just by visiting TFNN.com and providing us your name and email address. The TAS Profile Scanner Plus is the premier market profile based scanner in the industry. Powered by the acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner is a standalone desktop software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Within 3 minutes of signing up, you can have the software downloaded and running on your computer with a complete roadmap of market indicators and inflection points to trade off using the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. Sign up today and try this amazing piece of software by visiting TFNN.com.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
And we'll take a quick look. As we said, a couple more train companies, choo-choo train companies coming out after the bell tomorrow. Yeah, after the bell tomorrow. Let's take a look at CSX. It was down 6% at the earlier part of the day. It's still kind of off a bit. Down with some fairly decent volume, 23.8 million shares. And again, a lot of this money in the train business is dependent, whether they actually do it themselves, on how much crude they're bringing out of the shale producing parts of the Northwest. This doesn't look good if we're bringing that much shale down. It may be a good, a little bit of the stuff under crude today also. But this certainly down with Gusto. Your last low at 51.76 was 4.3 million shares. You got 23 million shares today. And that kind of really opens up what I'm looking at is this gap at 48 bucks. You also have a gap, a monster gap, and a double gap back at 38 bucks. I don't see a scenario right now that gets us back there without a lot of huge problems, i.e. Lehman Brothers or something like that. But 48.77, which is this low from May 18th, I think is certainly open now with this volume. That gap actually went up on 25.3 million shares. So we're basically down today on the same gap up of April 20th. So I would say that $48 is where support is. If you're short, that's where you take your money off, unless volume picks up. And, of course, if you think you want to be riding a choo-choo train higher, you're going to have to wait for that $48 low. What else do we have? Just looking through it. SPWH. SPWH on my list here. It's off 5% earlier. This is Sportsman's Warehouse. A lot of these retailers still just have horrible results. This one, not much in the way of juice out here, but they kind of had a little respite, but they continue to sell off fairly strongly every day. And this one has since back, this high on June 12th. I keep checking to see whether or not there's any kind of low in these retailers, and you still don't see much. A lot of people actually pushing CMG over the last day. They've gotten long. Chipotle had tried to run a short squeeze on it. And, of course, the news yesterday of extreme amount of people getting sick. Didn't do it any good. This has gotten back to the gap up that's existed since December 12th of 2016. Didn't have all that much juice on it. It goes back to, what is that, 2.1 million shares. We blew through that with 7.6 million shares. 362 is the next low out here if you look at that. So let's see if there's anything else out here. Energy, I'm just looking through the list of stuff out here. L3 Communications, a big backbone provider of communications, doing fairly decent out here. 171. This thing came out with earnings, but not much movement out here. Again, a lot of these stocks certainly are still in this lower highs, higher lows thing. This one had a chance to break out a couple of days ago on July 17th. Didn't have the kind of juice to do it. It just kind of bounced around. No volume on this one either. And again, we've talked about some of these, like the gold stocks, that I wanted to see bust out of the, if I wanted to be long, bust out on the downside of these bigger triangles. And of course, if you're bearish on gold, you want it to bust out to the upside. It did bust out to the downside and now pretty solidly back up in this move. So actually a fairly good pattern out here that is about 80% of the time when you get those decreasing triangle patterns that continue to have lower highs and higher lows and lower volatility. When they break, about 80% of the time you want to fade the other side of it. So you can look fairly good. This one looks like it, but again, I'm not one to bet on which way this thing's going to go. Normally I'll wait until it busts out and then try to play the other side of that. I haven't looked at McDonald's for a while. I have a request to do that. You can always email me at path@tfnn.com with what you want, or call me at 877-927-6648. McDonald's been holding up here at highs, and every day I hear how no one's going to McDonald's, and the stock seems to hang out at these highs. Down a little today, not much juice out here. Again, this one tried to break out of the June 2nd high, never really had the kind of juice to do so. Got to 156.75 on July 12th. It's kind of sold off a little. Yesterday, you had some volume in it, about 3.9 million shares, but today, again, no real follow-through, no lower low, just 2 million shares so far. So a lot of these stocks, as they come into earnings, even if they're a couple weeks out, are just hanging out these highs and waiting for something to happen. Let's see, what else do we have out here? I got a request to take a look at Amazon very quickly. Again, Amazon moving slightly higher. And again, I would not be playing the stock with the equity. If you've got to be in this thing, you got to be in the options on it. The reason why is, huge amount of articles over the weekend about antitrust. They are the poster child for it, and they continue to poke the bear almost weekly in every business that they're getting into. My guess is that whether it's in the next couple of months or next couple of years, this company is broken up and probably will not be allowed to continue vertical businesses within it. And if you know anything about vertical businesses or antitrust, the whole idea was that if you own from the manufacturing of it, including digging up the iron ore to build it or build something, to smelting that metal, to turning it into a product, to shipping it on your own rails that you built with maybe that metal that you got out of the iron, to actually taking it to the customer and maybe being on a truck made with your metal to their house with employees that are owned and not owned, but report to you. That's a vertical business, and Amazon's getting very, very close with a lot of those businesses. That's why I say might be a year, might be 2 years, but there's nothing that's come close to being that as Amazon has. In the meantime, sell when you can, not when you have to. We'll see you here tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White has just announced a new online course that he'll be premiering to his subscribers the evening of July 26th, The Next Wild Wild West of Computing. Machine learning will be the biggest growth area for tech companies in the next 10 years. Make sure you're ready to capitalize on that opportunity. With over 50 types of algorithms and growing, Dave White will tell you why there are so many areas for companies to apply this to their business to both sell and consume. Right now, you can get a 30-day free trial to either of Dave's newsletters, Path of Least Resistance and The Technology Insider, as well as get a 30-day money-back guarantee when ordering Timing the Trade charts. Don't miss out on the next Wild Wild West of computing as it premieres July 26th for all subscribers to Dave White Services. For all the details and to sign up today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And we're back, although had a little technical glitch here. Lost my internet. Now I got to get everything back up and running again here. So we will do that as we get ready here. Should be back in the den. Should have my charts up. And that'll be good enough. So what else do we have? I wanted to go back and look through some of these other stocks that we got. What else out here? Had a few of them here. Wanted to look at Twitter. Haven't looked at this one for a little while. It's kind of moved back up. Again, you've got stocks that are massively short like this. You get the sign of strength back on the 26th of April with 80 million shares. You kind of come back up here. Unfortunately, now you're back up into a lot of resistance, which is just at this $20 level. May 16th. $19.78, 35.7 million shares. Got into it a couple of days ago with 24 million shares. Again, I like being short in these double gap areas. You've got two at $21, or one at $21 and one at $23 to $24. My guess is this thing is so short that you could see this thing back up into the $23, $24 range. Don't know if they've actually changed anything. Maybe they've gotten a little dead wood out of it and a little bit more money in the ads. The idea was that they could never monetize it. Maybe I think they're doing a better job. The question is just whether or not this stock is still worth this kind of money. But you've got two big gaps out here that are acting as resistance. If you bought this thing off the $14.12 low, I think you're probably getting a little greedy here. $21 would have been my first target on a test, but you've never really tested that low volume low of April 17th at $14.12. So you've always got an opportunity for this thing to come back and get that. Maybe this thing does take off kind of like Facebook did after its IPO, but continues to have a lot of issues. They've slowly gotten better. It hadn't been revolutionary. It's been evolutionary, and that continues to be rather problematic. What else do we have? Okay, I wanted to look at a couple other ones out here if I have time. I think we got a couple minutes left. Textron, and we looked at that earlier. Didn't sell as many turboprop engines as they had in the past. It's down. They used to have a big factory right across from the racetrack in Palm Beach. Always, when I was waiting to get in on Saturday mornings at 6 a.m. to go racing, always was very interesting to watch what was going on over there. They'd always have a few helicopters and some of the other engines and stuff going on over there. This, of course, when we've talked about some of these stocks with light volume, this was at $49.67 on March 1st with 3.3 million shares. This thing was basically its best day before earnings was 1.8 million shares. So you never really got a lot of that. You just were back up here. You opened higher. You've closed lower today, or going to close lower. So again, these industrial stocks, you would think that their forward guidance would be helped, especially with Textron, a huge exporter of engines, would be helped by the lowering dollar. But whatever they said today, apparently no one was buying it. Want to look at a couple other ones out here. Is this one the one I was wanting to look at? I think so. We're out of time anyway. Catch me at 3:30 with Tom O'Brien. We're going to be talking a little bit more about machine learning. I think it's the biggest thing to happen in computing since computing really became a big thing in the 80s. In the meantime, sell when you can, not when you have to. And we will see you here tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.
You're watching Tiger TV.